The docking arms of Verent Station 5 shuddered as the Orlan delegation ship latched onto the hull. The corridor lights dimmed briefly. Every alien species aboard paused mid-task, exchanging silent glances. The Orlan hegemony wasn't here for peace. No one said it aloud, but they all knew. Lieutenant Commander Ren Hava stood at the end of the corridor, her posture still, her uniform crisp. She hadn't spoken all morning. She never spoke much. She didn't need to. The airlock hissed open. High Strategist Kralvex emerged, 6.5 feet of scaled arrogance wrapped in blood-red armor plating. His 4 eyes scanned the welcoming committee like a predator assessing a zoo. "I trust the accommodations will be tolerable," Kral said, voice slithering through the translator field. Ren gave him nothing. Not a nod. Not a blink. Just silence. Station Commander Torali, a feathered diplomat from the Thenary sector, forced a diplomatic smile. "We're honored by your presence, strategist. Our station is a shared accord facility. We welcome all observers." Kral's smile was thin. He looked past Torali. Right at Ren. "And the human contingent?" Torali gestured. "Lieutenant Commander Haveth oversees security. She is our highest-ranking human officer." Kral stepped toward her. "I've read of your kind. Always watching. Never speaking. Terrifying, really. A predator pretending to be prey." Still, Ren didn't move. Kral chuckled. "Is this the part where I die from fear?" She blinked once. "Fascinating," he muttered. Later, in the command dome, Ren reviewed station surveillance. Kral was already walking the halls without escort, inspecting energy conduits and weapon placements like he owned them. She didn't stop him. Humans didn't escalate. Not until the end. Word of the Orlan arrival spread quickly. Whispers filled the galley. The air was heavier, the halls quieter. Especially around Ren. The engineers from Play 7 stopped talking when she entered the room. Not out of disrespect, but superstition. One of them, a young technician with gill slits and nervous hands, whispered to a colleague. "I heard humans never yell. Never argue. They just watch. And when they finally speak, they don't need to yell," the other replied. "The last time a human fleet spoke, 3 Orlan moons vanished. Is that real? No one knows. That's the problem." Kral kept pushing. He bypassed lockdown doors with override codes he shouldn't have. He ordered scans of human sleeping quarters. He tested the edges of the station's safety protocols like a blade on his tongue. Ren remained silent. She filed every violation. Logged every action. No retaliation. No confrontation. Just notes. At a diplomatic luncheon, Kral made his next move. A Relari singer had begun performing, a cultural piece celebrating unity in isolation. As the haunting melody echoed across the observation deck, Kral turned to Ren and said loudly, "Tell me, Commander, do humans even feel anything anymore? Or did you trade your souls for silence?" Everyone turned. Ren's eyes met his. She said nothing. Kral laughed and sipped his drink. The Relari musician dropped her instrument. That night, in a secured channel, Torali messaged Ren directly. "He's testing you. The entire hegemony wants to prove that humanity is pretending. That your silence is fear." Ren replied with a time-stamped surveillance clip. Kral accessing restricted life support data near the hydroponics lab. No words. Just evidence. Torali responded. "Why haven't you reported this to Central Accord Command?" Ren typed. "Because Central will ask us to wait. And we're very good at that." By the 4th day, Kral had violated 17 protocols. He'd walked into the human crew's gym and destroyed 2 sparring drones, claiming he thought they were active threats. He mocked Ren to her face in the cafeteria. He overturned a tray of food belonging to a junior tech. She simply picked it up. Cleaned the mess. Walked away. He grinned the entire time. That night, Kral stood outside the human sector gate, staring into the camera. "This is who terrifies the galaxy? Mute little watchers? Your silence doesn't scare me. It bores me. The camera didn't reply. Neither did Ren. The pressure built with each passing hour. Other species on the station grew nervous. Several asked to be transferred. Others submitted incident reports. Crawl was circling something, and no one knew when the line would be crossed. During a security round, a Sarn diplomat pulled Ren aside. Why do you let him insult you? Your people could crush his fleet. Ren only said, Not yet. Then came the breach. Crawl's personal guards, accidentally, entered the data core. They claimed they were lost. When the human system's AI flagged the intrusion, it was Ren who responded. Alone. She escorted them out without raising her voice. That night, Crawl left a message. I wonder what you'll do when the right person gets hurt. Ren watched it once. Archived it. Said nothing. On the morning of the 7th day, a human child went missing. His name was Aaron. 6 years old. Son of the station's hydroponics engineer. A quiet boy who liked old Terran butterflies and reading books upside down. His tracker stopped transmitting on Deck 9. An abandoned maintenance bay. Unused. Cold. A coded message arrived in Ren's personal console. Come alone. Or he disappears. She geared up. No alarms. No team. She walked out without a word. No one stopped her. No one dared. Deck 9 was buried deep beneath Verent Station, below power conduits, below life support, below even the emergency waste shafts. A forgotten layer. Cold. Empty. Stripped of life. Lieutenant Commander Ren Hava stepped out of the lift and into the dark without hesitation. She didn't speak. She didn't draw her weapon. She didn't need to. The corridor lights flickered as if unsure whether to reveal what lay ahead. Her boots echoed, slow, deliberate. Not a hunt. Not a warning. A procession. Kralvek stood at the far end of the corridor, surrounded by silence and shadows. Behind him, a small figure sat cross-legged in a chair. Aaron. Unharmed. Calm. Kral extended his arms. You came. Alone, as requested. Admirable. Or perhaps predictable. Ren said nothing. He clicked his tongue. You know, you people fascinate me. Every species screams. Every empire retaliates. Every soldier bleeds noise into the dirt. But you... He stepped closer, eyes narrowing. You just wait. Watch. Store up the storm. Ren moved one step forward. Measured. Controlled. Kral circled the child, then leaned in close to Ren. I killed your people. Humiliated them. I took a child from your sector. I've mocked your precious silence across the galaxy. And still, nothing. He leaned in until they were inches apart. Speak. Nothing. Kral sneered. Do you think silence frightens me? That it makes you stronger? His voice rose. You hide behind it. A broken empire ashamed of its past. I've seen your archives. I've read about Earth's wars. Your planet nearly killed itself a dozen times. You didn't choose peace. You were forced into it. Cowards born from radioactive ashes. He raised his voice to a shout. So scream. Cry. Shoot. Show the galaxy you're still animals. The walls vibrated. Lights buzzed. Ren blinked. No emotion. Just calculation. You know what I think? Kral asked, voice now soft. You're hollow. All mystery, no substance. The boogeyman under the galactic bed. Time to see if the myth bleeds. He pressed a button. The child's chair tipped, gently, slowly, toward a steep ventilation shaft. A drop into darkness. Ren didn't move. Kral paused, confused. Then, her hand rose. Not to draw a weapon. Just a single finger tapping her left wrist. The lights shut off. In one instant, Deck 9 vanished into darkness. A heartbeat later, the emergency reds kicked in, but flickered uselessly, like dying fireflies. Kral reached for his calm dead. His guards turned on their lights. They didn't activate. No sound. No signal. No exit. And then, something changed. The temperature dropped. Not physically. Existentially. Like the room had stopped believing in light. A whisper echoed, not a sound, but a presence behind Krall's mind. He turned. Ren was gone. So were his guards. A scream. A body thudded. Steel scraped. Krall stumbled back. What? Another scream. Short. Wet. He drew his blade. Nothing moved. Nothing breathed. Then a voice. Low. Calm. Too close. You wanted us to speak. Krall spun, blind, wild. Now listen. The voice was everywhere. And nowhere. Something brushed his arm. He swung. Air. Another scream. A final one. Silence returned. He was alone. Except for Ren. She stepped forward into the flickering red haze. No weapon drawn. No armor. Her gloves were gone. Her eyes locked on his. You poked at silence, she said. You thought it meant fear. She stepped closer. It meant mercy. Krall backed away. His foot caught on something. A guard's helmet. Still attached to the head. Ren didn't flinch. You asked who we are, she continued, voice level. We are the ones who remember. Who buried our madness under mountains of patience. She held out her hand. The child walked to her, unafraid. Krall's knees buckled. You can't, this isn't diplomacy. No, she said. This is clarity. He reached for a final defense, words. But Ren raised a single hand. And he stopped speaking. Not because of a weapon. But because he finally understood. Outside Deck 9, Verent Station sat in stillness. Ren emerged with the child in her arms. Calm. Unmarked. Torali met her at the lift, eyes wide. Commander, what happened? We lost all sensors. The Orlan cruiser is hailing nonstop. What? Ren set Aaron down gently. Then looked up. Tell the Accord, she said. Protocol Delta Black has been activated. Torali blinked. That's not a real protocol. It is now. Across the quadrant, Orlan's systems began failing. Untraceable power surges knocked out orbital comms. Military databanks blinked and went dark. Earth-coated black ice buried their fleet commands in silence. And at the edge of their empire, dormant satellites woke. Built centuries ago. Watching. Waiting. Now whispering. Do not provoke the quiet ones. Inside Verent's council chamber, Krall sat bound. Eyes wide. Breathing shallow. He hadn't spoken since Deck 9. A Relari technician scanned him. No visible injuries. But he's changed. Torali turned to Ren. What did you do? Ren looked out the viewport, stars twinkling in silence. We spoke. The Accord Council had never called an emergency session so quickly. Verent Station's emergency transmission had spread across the diplomatic grid in under 20 minutes. Its message had no flourish, no sound. Just 3 words. We have spoken. Now, 1,000 light-years away, across 7 species encrypted channels, the galaxy held its breath. At the center of the storm sat Earth's representative, Lieutenant Commander Ren Haveth, seated calmly in a secure transmission chamber. Her hands rested lightly on the table, palms upward, non-threatening, open. Across the table, holograms of council members flickered in, a dozen alien silhouettes from the peaceful Accord and 2 from neutral systems now demanding answers. Ren met no one's eyes. She didn't have to. Torali opened the session, feathers ruffled with stress. Commander Haveth, the Accord received reports of a complete neural disruption across Orlan military communications. The strategist is in medical lockdown. Their cruiser is stranded. Explain what happened. Ren's voice was even. They crossed the line. That doesn't justify an unauthorized counterstrike. The Accord forbids escalation without full council approval. Ren lifted a small black cube onto the table. It blinked once, then projected logs. Visuals of Krall's sabotage. Of his invasion of the data core. Of the abduction. Every violation, time-stamped and undeniable. Silence followed. A chittering delegate from the Mars system finally broke it. You didn't retaliate with weapons. But you did something. Their fleet command has been non-functional for hours. Internal reports show entire Orlan bases experiencing blackouts. They're calling it the Greyout. What is that? Ren reached forward, activated the next feed. An Earth Defense Protocol ID. Delta Black. Access level, humanity only. This is a legacy response, Ren said. Authorized during humanity's induction into the Accord. A dormant retaliatory program stored across neutral satellites. No weapons. No deaths. Just silence. The kind we understand. Torali narrowed her eyes. Why wasn't this disclosed to the Council? It was, Ren replied. You didn't read the fine print. Back aboard Verent Station, Krallvex sat restrained in medical quarantine. The Orlan ambassador was screaming into a secure line. You have violated the terms. This is aggression. We demand justice. The medical staff stared through the glass at the strategist. He hadn't moved in hours. He was breathing, but his eyes were wide, staring at nothing. The ambassador snarled. What did you do to him? No one answered. One nurse whispered. He asked them to speak. Back in the council chamber, the Threx war historian leaned forward. My people once ruled 3 systems through brute force. We fell. The humans, on the other hand, they simply vanished for a century. Returned stronger. No retaliation. No claims. Just presence. I've read your archives, Commander Haveth. Ren inclined her head. Is this who you truly are? A species that waits, and then ends wars without firing a shot? We're a species that listens, Ren said. Until we're not. The council erupted into debate. Words flew, accusations, fears, questions of sovereignty and trust. But amidst the noise, one thing became clear. The galaxy had just seen the mask slip. Not war. Not terror. Just the quiet precision of a people who had studied everyone else for generations, and had built defenses no one understood. One delegate murmured. We feared the Orlan's anger. But perhaps we should have feared Earth's silence. Another added. Now we know why they never raised their voice. It wasn't peace. It was restraint. Back on Verent Station, Ren stood in the command dome, overlooking the stars. Torali approached, holding a data tablet. You've been summoned for High Command debriefing. Earth's Council is preparing for political fallout. Ren nodded. Expected. You should know, the Council voted unanimously to establish a new protocol. Ren raised an eyebrow. Torali read from the screen. Article Delta Black. Accord species may not provoke, test, or otherwise attempt to manipulate human operatives without cross-council approval. Violation will be treated as a high-risk act of aggression. Ren turned back to the viewport. Stars blinked across the black. A long pause. Does it bother you? Torali asked. Being feared? Ren's voice was soft. It's better than being misunderstood. In the diplomatic hall later that day, a young Relari cadet approached her. He looked nervous. Curious. Is it true? He asked. That Earth once silenced an entire star system without using weapons? Ren paused. Then leaned down slightly. We didn't silence it, she whispered. We just stopped answering their calls. The cadet's eyes widened. He ran. Ren stood straight, face unreadable. Behind her, the doors closed with a hiss. That night, Ren sent a private message home. To earthcommand.delta.archive. Subject, incident logged. Message, protocol activated. No casualties. Silence preserved. End log. She sat back. Eyes closed. Breathed in. Then turned off the lights.